Fourth semester BCom examination August September 2023 business regulation ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ 60 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರು. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಎಲ್ಲ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 8 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವೇನಿ 6 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ನ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 12 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎ ಇಂದ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲಾ. Business law defined as a branch of law that regulates relations that originate from conducting economic activities or that are in a close subject or functional relation with such activities. Give the meaning of free consent. Two or more persons are said to be consent when they agree upon the same thing in the same sense. What is meant by cyberspace? It refers to a virtual world of computers that allows people to communicate and exchange information online. It is a huge network of computer and sub-network that are connected with the internet, making it possible to interact with people all over the world. State any two features of Competition Act: consumer welfare, prohibition of anti-competition agreements. It prevents practices that harm competition, to promote and sustain competition, to ensure freedom of trade. Define consumer dispute. According to section 21E, a dispute occurs when the person against whom a complaint has been made denies or disputes all the allegations contained in the complaint. If the person against whom complaint is made agrees to the complaint, there is no consumer dispute. What is geographical indication? A geographical indication is a sign used on products that have a specific geographical origin and possesses qualities or a reputation that are due to that origin. In order to function as a GI, a sign must be identify a product as originating in a given place. State any two rights of buyer: right to delivery of goods as per contract, right to reject non-conforming goods, right to examine goods for all conformity, right to sue for price recovery, right to sue for damages for non-delivery. What is environmental pollution? Environmental pollution can be defined as any undesirable change in the physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of any components of the environment, like air, water, soil, which are cause harmful efforts on various forms of life or property. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಎಲ್ಲ 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸು. 3 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 5 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಇಂದನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ 12 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ನು, ಬ್ರೀಫ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ 4 ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಅನ್ಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್. ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಅನ್ಪೇಯ್ಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್: ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್: ರೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೀನ್, ರೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪೇಜ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್, ರೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರೀಸೇಲ್ ಆರ್ ರೀಸೆಲ್, ರೈಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಬಯರ್, right to sue for price, right to sue for damages, right to sue for interest. First one, right against the goods. Right of lien: the unpaid seller's right against the goods, the property in which is transferred to the buyer. It is an unpaid seller's right to section the goods until the whole price is paid or tendered. The following cases: where the buyer becomes insolvent, lien is right of possession only. Lien in case of past delivery, where the goods have been sold on credit but the term of credit has expired. Second subpoint, right of stoppage in transit. The right of stoppage in transit arises only when the buyer has parted with the possession of the goods and the buyer has become insolvent. This right is available only so long as the goods are in transit. They are in the possession of the third party. They are neither in the possession of the seller nor that of the buyer. It is in this sense that is said that the right of stoppage is transit is an extension of the rights of the lien. The point where the lien ends, stoppage in transit begins. This right is available when the goods are in transit, when the buyer becomes insolvent. Third subpoint, right of resale. The unpaid seller can exercise that the rights to resell the goods under the following condition: where the goods are of perishable nature. In such a case, the buyer need that not be informed of the intention resale. Where he gives notice to the buyer in of his intention to resell the goods and the buyer does not within a reasonable time pay or tender the price. Second main point, right against the buyer. First one, suit for price. Where property has passed to buyer and he wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay for the goods, the seller may sue him for the price of the goods. Where property has not possessed under the contract of sale and the price is payable on a certain day, irrespective of delivery, and the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to pay such price, the seller may sue him for the price although the property in the goods has not passed and the goods have not been appropriated to the contract. Second subpoint, suit for damages. Where the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to accept and pay for the goods, the seller may sue him for the damages for non-acceptance as regards measures of damages. Third subpoint, suit for interest. In the absence of the contract to the contractory, the court may award interest to the seller in a suit by him at such rate it thinks fit on the amount of the price from the date of the tenders of the goods or from the date on which the price was payable. Next question, what is cybercrime? State any four types of cybercrime. Definition. Cybercrime can be defined as the illegal usage of any communication device to commit or facilitate in committing any illegal act. Types of cybercrime. Cyber hacking. Cyber hacking is an act of gaining unauthorized access to the computer system or network, usually with the aim of stealing sensitive information or causing damages to the system. Example, a hacker gaining access to a company's database and stealing sensitive customer information. Identity theft. Identity theft is the act of stealing someone's personal information, such as their name, address, and financial details, in order to commit fraud or other criminal activities. Example, a cyber criminal using a stolen credit card to make online purchases. In 2019, it was reported that over 1.3 million credit and debit card details had been stolen from Indian banks and sold on the dark web. The stolen information was used by cyber criminals to carry out fraudulent transactions and steal money from the people's accounts. Next, cyber phishing. Cyber phishing is a technique used by cyber criminals to steal sensitive information such as login credentials, credit card details, and other personal data. It involves sending fraudulent emails or messages that appear to be from a trusted source. Example, the attacker sent fake emails to the customers asking them to click on a link and provide their card details, which were then stolen by the hackers. Cyber stalking. Cyber stalking involves the use of electronic communication technology to persistently harass or threaten an individual. It often involves sending unwanted messages or emails or posting false or harmful information about victim on social media or other online platform. Example, sending unwanted messages or making threatening comments on social media. In 2018, a man in Mumbai was arrested for the cyber stalking and harassing a woman online. Next question. List out four types of unfair trade practices. Infringement of intellectual property rights, protection of trademarks, brand names, patents, indications of origin. False or misleading advertising that harm consumers. Comparative advertising practice varies. False representation, advertising of bargain price, falsely representing second hand goods as new, illegal lotteries and confidence games, unfair pricing and services, misleadable goods, fraudulent telemarketing and internet schemes, confusing brand name or trademark. Next question, what are the objectives of consumer protection councils? The right to be protected against the marketing of goods and services which are hazardous of life and property. The right to be assured wherever possible access to variety of goods and services at competitive prices. The right to be heard and to be assured that consumers' interest will receive due consideration at appropriate forums. Right to be informed, right to be consumer education, the right to be informed about the quality, quantity, purity, standard, and the price of goods and services, as the case may be so, to protect the consumer against unfair trade practices. The right to seek redressal against unfair trade practices. Section BL last question. What are the salient features of Patent Act? The Patent Act covers both product and processes. It protects not just final invention but also the methods used to create it. It must serve a purpose by unique and not be easily guessed by someone knowledgeably in the field. The invention should be usable in an industrial setting or else it might be revoked. The idea must be original and not included in the list of exceptions found in Section 3 and 4 of the Act. Patent generally lasts for 20 years, which the option to renew in some cases, while a few patents may have a shorter term of 7 years. Inventors can request a patent examination to make sure they meet the necessary criteria. The Act allows the people to challenge a patent before and after it is granted to, through pre-grant and post-grant oppositions. If any disputes arises, the Act provides a fast-track system to resolve them quickly. It also considers the value of Indian Constitution and aims to protect biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Patent application become public 8 months after filing, but inventors can request to do it early publication to secure their rights fast. The Act encourages research and development by providing compulsory leasing under specific conditions, ensuring that patented inventors are accessible to the public. The Act promotes transparency by requiring the publication of the granted patents, making information about inventions available to the public. It also provides provision for international patent application under Patent Corporation Treaty, making it easier for inventors to protect their inventions globally. The Act has a provision of revoking a patent if it is found to be misused or not in a public interest. It includes penalty for infringement like fines and imprisonment for unauthorized use of patent in inventions. Section C ಎಲ್ಲ 12 marks questions 3 questions attend ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. First one, explain the classification of contract. Indian Contract Act on the basis of formation or mode of creation ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ sub point express contract, implied contract, quasi contract. On the basis of validity or enforceability, valid contract, agreements, voidable contracts, enforceable contract, illegal contract. On the basis of performance, executed contracts, executory contracts, or unilateral contract, bilateral contract. First one, formation, adults appoint, express contract. The term are made clear in writing, orally at the time of entering into the agreements. Implied contract. Individuals sometimes may not actually express their contract in specific language. This intent to enter into a contract, it is a conduct of parties express the contract. Example, a boy in a traffic signal wipe a car glass which was not expressed contract but it is understood that the boy needs money and the car owner expects his car to make to clean. Quasi contract, constructive contract. These are certain transactions which cannot be strictly called as contract but it is resembles to the contract with peculiar obligations. Second one, validity. Valid contract. The contract which satisfy all legal requirements laid down is called valid contract. Void contract. A contract which was valid when it was first entered but subsequently it becomes unenforceable due to change of law or other reasons. Example, a contract to import goods from a foreign country, if was breakout between the countries, it becomes impossible to import the goods. Void agreements. Void agreements is an agreement not enforceable by law. Example, an agreement with the minor, an agreement with restraint of trade. Voidable contract. It is a contract that can be set aside at the portion of the contract, one of the parties to the contract. The party who can rescind the contract is the aggrieved. The other party who caused wrong cannot set aside the contract. Illegal contract. The term illegal and contract cannot be together. An illegal agreement is forbidden by the law, defeats the provision of law. It is the fraudulent and opposed to public policy. Unenforceable contract. It is valid but for certain technical reasons such as proof, expiry of period, insufficiency of stamp, registrar issues, the contract will be enforceable. Next, third point, performance. Executed contract. This contract is one which is wholly performed. Here both the parties to the contract have discharged their respective obligations. Example, A agrees to paint a picture for B for rupees 1000 when A points the picture and B pays 1000 to the contract when performed by both. Executory contract. Unlike the executed contract, parties to any executory contract have not performed their respective obligations. Example, A has not painted a picture for B nor B paid 1000. Unilateral contract. Here one party has already performed his part of obligation at the time of contract or before performing the contract. Only other party has to fulfill his obligation. Example, doctor and patient. Bilateral contract. Both the parties to the contract have to fulfill their respective obligations. Example, A promises to sell his car to B after 20 days and B promises to pay the price on the delivery of the car. The contract is bilateral as obligations of both the parties are outstanding at the time of formation of contract. Next question, explain the kinds of intellectual property rights. First one, copyright, patent, trademark, industrial design, geographical indication, trade secrets. Copyright. It is a legal protection provided to as original work such as authors, artists, musicians, and filmmakers. Copyright can be include literacy, musical, dramatic, and artistic work. This generally lasts for life of author plus member of years after their death. The copyright holders has exclusive rights to reproduce, distribute, perform based on the original work. The copyright protection does not cover idea, facts, or methods, but the unique expression of those ideas. The purpose of copyright is to encourage creativity, promote sharing of knowledge, interest of the creators. Example, Indian musicians and composers A.R. Rahman, Lata Mangeshwar, and Ilayaraja enjoy copyright protection. Example, a films like or blockbuster movie Bahubali have copyright protection. Second point, patents. It is a form of intellectual property protection that gives inventors a exclusive right prevent other firms from making selling their inventions for a limited period of time. Patents are often granted for new machines, processes, articles of manufacturers. It can also cover improvements to existing investors. Next, trademark. It is a form of intellectual property that protects brand names, logos, and other distinctive signs used to identify product or services in the marketplace. It also helps consumers to identify and distinguish between different products or services and helps to build brand recognition and loyalty. Trademarks can be words, phrases, symbols, and designs that are used to distinguish one brand from another. Trademark can be non traditional mark such as sound, color, and smell. It can be registered with the government in order to gain legal protection and prevent others from using similar marks that could come confusion, dilute brand duplication. In order to be eligible for trademark protection, a mark must be distinctive and not likely to cause confusion with other existing marks. Trademarks registration is not mandatory, but it provides legal protection and helps businesses establish the ownership and exclusive rights to their marks. Example Titan, Fevical, etc. Fourth point, industrial design. Industrial design is a form of intellectual property that protects visual appearance of the product such as its shape, color and texture. It can be registered with government in order to gain legal protection and prevent other from raising similar designs that could cause confusion or dilute brand reputation. In order to be eligible for the industrial designed protection, a design must be new and not similar to existing design. Industrial design can be protected for a period of for 15 years and date of registration. Industrial design rights are enforced through legal actions and industrial design owners can seek damages. Industrial design can be used to add value to the product, improves its functionality. It is often used in consumer products such as furniture, appliances, electronic, etc. It can be registered in multiple countries in order to gain protection in different jurisdictions. It can be used to protect both 2D and 3D designs such as graphical designs, product packing, etc. Example Tata Nano, Godrej lockers, Tupperware products. Geographical indication. It is a type of intellectual property protection that identifies a product as originating from a specific geographical areas, often linking products, qualities, reputation or other characteristics to its place of origin. Geographical indicators are used to protect traditional products that have a strong association with their region, helping to prevent misuse or imitations by others and ensuring that only genuine products can be the GI label. To be eligible for GI protection, a product must be clearly linked to a particular region and have certain qualities or characteristics unique to that region. GIs can cover a wide range of products such as agricultural products, foodstuffs, wine, handicraft, and industrial products. Example Darjeeling tea, Kanchipuram silks, Alfonso mangoes, Kolhapuri chappal. Last point, trade secrets. Trade secrets are a form of intellectual property that protect confidential information such as formulas, processes, or business strategies that gives a company a competitive advantage. Trade secrets can be used to protect information that is not patentable or to protect the information that company does not want to disclose publicly. In order to be eligible for trade secret protection, information must be secret, have commercial value, and be subject to reasonable efforts to maintain its secrecy. Trade secrets do not have to be registered with the government in order to gain legal protection. It is enforceable through legal actions and owner can seek damages against those who misappropriate or disclose this trade secret. It can provide business with a competitive advantage in a marketplace by protecting valuable information from competitors. It is used in variety of industries including technology, paramedical and manufacturing. Next question. Explain the need and objective of Information Technology Act 2000. Needs of Information Technology Act 2000 to provide legal recognition for electronic transactions and documents, to facilitate the use of electronic facility with government agencies, to promote e-governance and efficient delivery of government services, to protect the confidentiality, integrity and availability of electronic information, to establish a legal framework for electronic contract and signature, to prevent cybercrimes and provides for their investigations and publishment, to protect intellectual property rights in the digital environment, to regulate the use and operations of computer systems and network, to promote electronic commerce and paperless trade, to encourage the growth of IT industries and technology innovation, to provide for alternative dispute resolution mechanisms for electronic transactions, to ensure compliance with international standards and best practice in the field of IT, to promote public awareness and education about safe and responsible use of technology, to provide legal remedies for victims of cybercrimes and electronic fraud, to ensure the seamless integration of India with the global digital economy. Objectives of IT Act 2000. Legal recognition of electronic transactions. The IT Act 2000 made online transaction legally valid, enabling business and consumers to rely on e-commerce for purchasing goods and services. Example, shopping on an e-commerce platform like Amazon or Flipkart is now considered legal binding. Authentication of electronic records and digital signatures. Banks and financial institutions now use digital signatures to authenticate online transactions. For instance, digitally signed loan agreements are legally valid and enforceable. Prevention of cyber crimes. The IT Act 2000 helped prospect cyber criminals like the infamous Nigerian prince email scams that attempted to defraud victims by promising a large sum of money in exchange for a small advance payment. Facilitating e-governance. The Act paved the way for government services like passport applications, income tax filing, and vehicle registration to be available online, making these processes more efficient and convenient for citizens. Adjudication and resolution of disputes. The IT Act 2000 allows for the appointment of adjudicating officers to resolve disputes related to cybercrime and electronic transactions. For example, disputes regarding authorized access to someone's email account can be adjudicated under this act. Establishing a cyber appellant tribunal. The IT Act 2000 set up the cyber appellant tribunal to hear appeals against order passed by a adjudicating officers. This ensures that the parties have access to an effective and fair appellant process. Protection of consumer rights. The IT Act 2000 protects consumers from fraudulent online transactions such as fake e-commerce website, sell counterfeit goods or fails to deliver products after receiving payments. Ensuring data privacy. The IT Act 2000 introduced provision to protect sensitive personal data such as requiring organization to implement reasonable security practices for data protection. This helps safeguard the privacy of individuals in the digital age. Raising awareness of cyber laws. The IT Act 2000 has prompted the inclusion of cyber law courses in educational institutions, law enforcement training programs, and public awareness campaigns to foster a better understanding of the legal aspects of the digital world. encouraging investors in IT sector, promoting trust in electronic transaction, strengthening cyber security, enabling the recognition of foreign digital signature, combating cyber terrorism. Next question. Discuss the rights of consumers under Copra Act 1986. Meaning of consumer. The consumer is a person or entity that purchases goods or services for their own use or consumption. Consumers can be individual, householders, business or organization that buy products or services to satisfy their needs and wants. Example, a person who purchases a mobile phone from a store is a consumer. A person who avails of medical services from hospital is also a consumer. The Consumer Protection Act CPA of 1986 in India recognizes six basic rights of consumers. These rights are right to safety, right to be informed, right to choose, right to consumer education, right to seek redressal, right to be heard. First one, right to safety. It means that the purchased goods and services should not only meet the immediate needs of all consumers but also meet their long term needs as well as these rights requires manufacturers and services providers to ensure that their products are safe and for the use and do not pose any risk to the consumer's health as well as well-being. Example, a consumer purchases a toy for their child. The right to safety ensures that the toy is free from any harmful chemical or materials that could cause harm to a child. The manufacturer has a responsibility to ensure that the toy is safe for the use and meets all safety standards. If toy is found to be unsafe, it is responsibility of the manufacturer to recall it and provide a safe replacement or refund. Second point, right to be informed. This right ensures that consumers are provided with all the necessary informative about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standards, and price of the goods and services they are purchasing. This right protects consumers from unfair trade practices and helps them make informed decisions while purchasing goods or services. The consumers to exercise their rights to be informed by asking for all details of products before making a choice or decision. Example, a consumer wants to purchase a new smartphone. This right to be informed ensures that the consumer is provided with all the necessary information about all the smartphones such as its features, specification, price, warranty details, etc. With the help of information, consumer make an informative decision or choice whether to purchase the smartphone. If the information is not provided by the seller or manufacturer and they may misrepresent any aspect of it, it is considered as unfair trade practice. Next point, right to choose. This right provides consumer to have freedom to choose the product or services they want to purchase. Right allow consumers to make own decision on their preference and needs. Consumer can access to competitive prices in the market and choose the best product that meet their requirement. Example, a consumer wants to purchase a new laptop. The right to choose ensures that the consumer has access to variety of laptops with different features, specifications and prices. The consumer can compare this laptop and choose one of the best meets their needs and budget. Right to be heard. This right allows consumer to express their grievances and concerns about the product or services they have purchased and seek redressal for any harmful caused by them. It also means that consumers have the right to be represented in various forms that are formed to consider their welfare. Example, a consumer purchases a product that turns out to be faulty and the rights to be heard ensure that the consumer complaint is taken seriously and given due consideration at the appropriate forum such as customer service department or consumer court. The consumer has the right to express their grievances and seek redressal from any harm caused by the faulty products. Next, right to seek redressal. This right is a fundamental consumer or resolution for any harm caused by unfair trade practices or unscriptable exploitation. This right also includes the right to have genuine grievances fairly selected by the businesses or other relevant authorities. Consumers should take responsibility for making genuine complaint about their real grievances and seeking redressal for them. Example, a consumer purchases a product that does not meet their expectations or is defective. The right to seek redressal ensures that the consumer can file a complaint and seek compensation or resolution for any harm caused by the product. This could include getting a refund, replacement, or repair of the product. Next point, right to consumer education. This right is particularly important for rural consumers who may not have access to the same resources as urban consumers. Ignorance about products and services can lead to exploitation, so it's important for consumers to be aware of their rights and exercise them wisely. Example, a consumer wants to purchase a new smartphone. The consumer can research different brands and models online, read reviews from other users, and compare prices from different retailers. By doing so, the consumer can make an informed decision about which the smartphone is best suited for their needs and budget. The consumer can also exercise their rights to know by asking questions about any hidden cost or fees associated with the purchase, such as taxes or shipping fees. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ದಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲಾ ಮತ್ತು ಬಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ದಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ದಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲಾ. First point, English mercantile law. The law of merchant based on the customs and practices prevalent among English merchants. This law was developed during 14th and 15th century but later merged with the common law. Subpoint 1, common law. It also refers to a system of law based upon English customs, ways and traditions. It is the oldest unwritten law existed in the England even prior to the creation of the Parliament. Equality. The term equality refers to a fair or justice according to the natural law. This is based upon the concept of justice developed by judges whose decision becomes precedents. Statutory law. It is a written law superior and overrides any law of common law. It is also called as enacted law. Second main point, statute of Indian legislation. The law of merchant relating to the mercantile transactions like negotiable instrument contract of partnership. The same law was embodied in the act passed by the Parliament. They are Indian Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, Indian Partnership Act, the Companies Act. Third main point, judicial decisions. It is usually referred to a procedure binding on all courts having jurisdiction power that of courts, which gives the judgment, which is popularly called case law. Next, fourth point, customs and usage. It refers to the practice common law to many or to the particular place and consideration as written law. A group of people for a long period becomes a custom. Principle of justice and public utility. Relational expectations. Observance over long period. Interest of the society. Next, B question. Objectives of Environmental Protection Act. To protect the environment from degradation and take actions to improve current condition. To implement decision made to an unconference on the human environment held in stakeholders in 1972. To set up government body to look after the industries and regulate the efforts they have an environment, and also issue direct orders such as so far closure of industries to publish and finalize those posing a danger to the environment, health, and safety. For each failure, a fine of up to 1 lakh, a imprisonment term of 5 years, or both can be included in certain cases. The term can be extended up to 7 years. To coordinate the work of the agencies for the protection of the environment under existing laws, to enforce this law in all religion, including the places earlier exempted under previous laws, to encourage and work towards sustainable development of the environment.